Oh, there, coming down. Yes, we're live. What's going on over here? So Larry said he's waiting on the dry to finish for his wardrobe. You guys understand? Steve likes to draw the anticipation. Guys, you understand that we're always supposed to start at 8:30. I go on a bit earlier, but it's not live. But Steve, he's got his following. And maybe a T-shirt to come out soon, Steve. We're not gonna, divulge too much. We never know. We never know. But
la green bottle.
Thank you.
Look at this bottle. It's nice.
Beautiful, very nice. Beautiful. What? Anthony, I don't know if Anthony told off Tommy today for not giving in his reports. Reports. All right. So let's get this started, shall we, Mr. Steve?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. You know why, Steve? Because it's been a while. It's been a while since we haven't had this feeling. Cari amici sportivi, welcome yet to another edition of the Milan Weekly Podcast. Here where we talk everything Milan, 2 wins in a row, Milan, against Roma, Milan, and where we're not professionals.
Nor do we pretend to be.
Steve, I want to start off by saying what a great week it's been. We did come off a win. I had a half a work week. I took it easy this week, all the extra time. But Steve, Presidente reached out to me after the Milanismo worldwide, and he said, I've never heard such an angelic voice. I don't know what you did to the microphone settings. It was perfect. So because I didn't do anything, now I decided to change it up. Like I put it a bit more left, I put it from over here, but I got some compliments, Steve. I don't know how your interactions were with Presidente this week. Did you get to talk to him at all? Because I know he's deep down in the bunker.
No, not this week.
Not this week. Let me start off, guys. We're gonna start this off. I need to talk about this. Steve, I don't think this could have been written any better in any Hollywood movie. Guys, our fellow admin Mario, no fellow Calabrese, fellow Milanista, diehard Milanista, he has a business. He sells the oils, the vape. Guys, doesn't he get robbed yesterday? And you know what? I'm happy they didn't break any windows, like no material goods, nobody got hurt. But guys, listen to me very carefully. Doesn't this guy steal from his fucking cash register with a Juventus fucking hat on? Steve, could this not be written more like, you would like to joke around, Rubentus, a guy wearing a fucking Juventus hat goes to steal from our beloved Mario. Like, it was just like, we feel bad for him, obviously, but fuck, man. Like, now, what is it? Is it all over the newspaper? Juventus fan being searched for, what did he steal there? A couple of $100? Is like he did all that shit.
$200 and an iPad.
And an iPad, like it's just like, but it was just like it was pretty funny just to see like fucking a Juventus hat from over there, and hopefully gets caught. Steve, how was your Sunday? I know I was supposed to come over, and my nieces came over, had to stick around. Let's talk about, guys. We have no guests this week. It's me and Stevie. We're gonna talk about the game. We're gonna talk about what we thought about it. We're gonna go through some Twitter questions, all this different type of stuff, right? So, Steve, let's talk about Sunday. So the way the game started. First of all, were you surprised at the formation? Let's start with that one there. Going with the same formation that made us win against Lecce. What were your thoughts seeing that starting formation?
No, we talked about it last week there. Pioli is on an audition, and his goal now is to win. So he was going to stick with that lineup that beat Lecce, rightfully so. Mm-hmm. And then introduce some substitutions that ended up being well thought out and impactful to the game for sure.
What did you think of? I know. By the way, I don't know what it is, Steve. Kessie, I don't know if it's his hairstyle now. Doesn't he look a bit more mature? I don't know. It's been a couple of games. We were always on Team Frank, right? But Which players? I know we didn't start off in the best of ways. It just felt like, I don't know, like nobody wanted to make a mistake. We're just feeling each other out. To me, I'm sorry, guys. Bonaventura did not have a great first half. Conti and Calabria did not have great first halves, but Kessie came out strong. Benacer is always coming out strong. Rebic was a bit invisible in the first 20 minutes. What were your takeaways from the players that you saw within the first half, and how did you take the first half?
The first half, to be very honest, was very slow.
Hmm.
But I figured it was going to be very slow just because Roma was playing away. The schedule maker was in our favor because Roma had to play in a shorter time than Milan had to play. So no one wanted to drop points. No one wanted to lose points the first half, and they were trying to feel each other out. It was a bit uneventful. And look, you're gonna get that now. It's gonna just get worse. To be very honest, with you, as the teams get more and more into the summer months, they're not used to playing this frequently and in this warm weather. They're gonna continue to use that excuse, right? So I knew that it was gonna be a little bit moosh the first half, but to be very honest, you, I was a bit disappointed in Rome. I think Rome had a lot more to play for than Milan did. They still were in striking distance of that fourth spot, and for them, that fourth spot is something that they really needed. Right? They needed that Champions League spot, and last week. Against Sampdoria, they didn't look too great until Zeko pulled out two fantastic goals and got them the win. Right, so uh, look,
Did it have a bit more chances than us, though, in the first 30 minutes or so? Not that they had 15 chances, but I don't know. It just seems like it didn't capitalize on that first 30 minutes. And we didn't, I don't know, like I was just watching the game and it's like, at one point I was reading, like, going through Twitter. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, I'm not even paying attention to the actual game. It just felt like, okay, a bit of this, a bit of that. But Roma did have their chance. But in the end, do you think it's because they didn't capitalize that we took our chances? Gigi Lapata saying that the game was terrible into the 77 minute. I'm not going to say terrible, but it was nothing extravagant until the 77 minute. Would you agree with that?
yeah, there was nothing. There was no killer chances. It was a little bit going through the motions, and and again, it was exactly that. Gigi put it exactly the way we all felt until 77 minutes. Not too much emotion coming out, and a little bit disappointing. And I'm not picking on Rome, and I'm not doing it on purpose because I'm a Milan fan, but honestly, they needed to show up. They needed the win. I thought they were going to be more aggressive. They were not, and Milan's defense held up.
And let's speak about that defense, because a lot of people can say, well, Roma didn't show up and Lecce is a bad team, but in the end, even if Roma didn't show up, they still had their chances. But our defense stood tall. Kajar, like you like to say, holy shit, man! He's been for what we signed him for. Has he earned his, like, maybe resigning for next year? I can't complain so far what we've seen from the guy, Steve. Even last game, taking no chances. Get me off just in case something's wrong. We lost Musacchio. Duarte is not coming back or anytime soon, and he hasn't played for the last 4 or 5 months. What did you think about his performance?
He was good, and we were talking about it today on the fabulous Milan Club Montreal WhatsApp chat.
Mm-hmm.
That yes, these are not players like Kajar, who was going to get us to the fourth spot. But to be very honest, you, we said it when we saw that injury that he was forming quite a nice pairing with Romagnoli, a little bit of a veteran presence. He likes to pick out some long balls, which is a little bit different than what Milan like to play. They like to play possession. So it's interesting, right? And at 2.5 million to Riscatto from Sevilla, I think it's a good deal. But we have to again manage the expectations from this player here, where uh, injuries like that, we have no one to back him up, and then we start to get worried when we have to start Gabbia, which I don't know why we're always getting worried to start this youth. Let's just see if this youth is made and is da Milan, so we can make assessments on the youth. and continue going, right? So he took a risk this week, Pioli starting him, and you saw that he was wearing the fantastic band-aids of heat, I like to call them, keeping that muscle warm. But yeah, I'm happy with. I'm pleasantly surprised. I wasn't a big fan of the signing. I didn't think it was a signing that we needed. But in the end, look, that's why they're sitting in that power spot at Milan, making those choices, because he becomes like a joker that is pretty much saving your defense for the remainder of the time.
Let's talk about the substitutions. You touched on a little bit before we started talking, and Castillejo on a yellow card. So the double change. I like this. Sausage maker for Castillejo, Paquetá for Bonaventura. Now, sausage maker, Salamakers, or sausage makers, I like to talk it. It's not that he's had like a string of good performances, but hey, he had a good game, right? Did his job, was present, and Paquetá. Let's be honest here, Steve. Lost a crucial ball there as soon as he came in, but after that settled very well. Had some praise from the coach, right? What do you think about the first change at the 54th minute, which we don't see very often, especially in the last, let's say, 6 months of Milan?
I was surprised to see Salamaker come in, sausage maker, my friend. But again, a decent game. Not, I know people are giving him a lot of praise, because it's easy to give a player like that praise when your team comes out with the 3 points. But it wasn't a fantastic game. It was a decent game, and he was the one who saved that ball and put it back into the danger zone for the goal. So you got to give him the hustle points for that. I think, talking with the guys in the chat as well, he seemed to have helped Conte on that side as well, give him a little bit more help. Look, we signed him as a back, right? So he's playing at a wing position. So I think Pioli understands that he does have defensive responsibilities, and I think he knows that too. But again, him at 3.5 million to get back, to buy him from the team in Belgium. Look, again, it's not someone who's going to get us to 4th spot, but everybody needs to understand this is not FIFA 20 or PSE or whatever the hell you call it, whatever video game we're playing. This is a business, and we all need to understand that these depth signings and these player roles need to be filled out with guys like Salamaker, who are young and have a window to develop and can be sold. And I'm not saying can be sold because Milan wants to be one of these melting pots that develops talent and sells and never gets away from 6th or 7th place. But Lazio has done it for the longest time, where they develop talent and people come and they splash 30-40 million for players that they signed for 3. That's how you get out of the red, and that's how you upgrade on those spots. And if they decide to stay, hey, it's a positive. But if they decide to leave, you made some money on them. So I think he had a decent game.
And I think this is our first viewer from Birmingham, UK. He's saying he's calling him sausage maker. He was brilliant for that game there. Let's talk about the goal, Steve. I was looking at the sequence, and I'm like, this is not gonna go in. This is gonna hit another post, and it's not. And then as it goes in, I'm waiting for some sort of, okay, they're gonna call a foul or something, and it's like. And then I just like, yes, why? Like something that goes our way. I know Rebic got subbed out after that, but what was your feeling when you actually saw that ball go in?
I started to already get angry, and I stood up when Rebic lost the ball on the counterattack. And guys, it worked out well for us, but in other games against other teams, and I don't want to be negative here, Rebic loses that ball, the counterattack is dead. Right? So
Yeah.
That's just to show you how Roma was not in the game. In the second half, they were very tired. Their changes were very negative. So Dzeko out, bringing in Kalinic. For the love of God, Roma, if you want to get out of a slump, you're not taking out your best striker to bring in Kalinic. I'm sorry. And I know that everybody in Milan Nation, as soon as they saw Kalinic come in at 0-0, they were all thinking the same thing. This guy's going to bust our balls and he's going to score a goal and he's going to make Roma get the 3 points.
Yeah.
So, we all went through the same thing. But of course, luckily for us, Kalinic was his invisible self. But on that goal, it was just it was exactly the way the game went. Just sixes and sevens. I'm gonna give the Birmingham English
Oh, sixes and
English
sevens. Yes.
all sixes and seven for the Birmingham fan who's tuning in tonight, and the fucking Peaky Blinders. I love that shit. It's the best. Guys, Mirante made some big saves though.
He did. He did.
You understand that he stops Kessie on the bicycle kick, then he stops Rebic again, then it hits the post, and luckily for us, it goes back to Rebic, and I think it's Chanaloglu who smartly gets the hell out of the way and scores the goal.
Speaking of Çalhanoğlu, as you like to call him, okay, so first 20, 30 minutes, Steve, I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, man, seriously, this guy. What is the reason behind you think him taking? I find that Çalhanoğlu has his best moments when he's taking those free kicks. He seems to be able to curl them in, tries to always find somebody. Why would Kessie not take that penalty, according to you? Was it to give him that boost?
I have no idea. I was really pissed off with that.
Beautifully taken penalty.
Well, he almost stopped it, so it's not that beautiful.
No, he didn't stop it. Steve went straight top.
He was there. He was not straight top corner. Watch that, and he's there. If that's a better goalkeeper, he's stopping that penalty shot. There was no reason for Çalhanoğlu to take that penalty shot. The penalty kick taker, and we said it when Higuaín took the penalty shot against Juve. I get that Higuaín wanted to put it to Juve, but the penalty shot taker at Milan is Frank Kessie. When Ibrahimovic came over, he renounces that title to Ibrahimovic. I get it. That's just it's the soccer gods and the pedigree of Ibrahimovic. But if Ibra's not on the field, Frank Kessie is our penalty shot taker. And you saw there was a moment of awkwardness after he scored the goal where he kind of said, you know what, I get it why you wanted to take it. But if he misses that penalty shot, there's a lot of pissed off people. I'm Pioli. I'm really pissed off because Frank Kessie is our penalty shot taker.
Do you agree with Jamie saying maybe to give Hakan a bit of confidence?
You got to earn the confidence. You got to earn the confidence. I get what Hakan gives. I get why Pioli and the rest of the coaches keep him on because he runs. He just consistently runs and he helps on the defensive side. But you're wearing that 10 for a reason. You're not wearing that 10 because we want you to play defensively responsible. We want you to create chances and score goals. Unfortunately, he's not done that throughout his career at Milan. And if you're going to become you're going to become the designated penalty shot taker, Frank Kessie runs kilometers and kilometers and kilometers. And you know what? I've got grilled about being on Team Frank Kessie, and a lot of people throw him out. Yeah, we both did. Throw him out and bring in Bakayoko. Guys, this guy's been, again, like someone like Bonaventura, through the shit of Milan, always changing partner in the midfield, always not having a direct role, always having to ask him to do more, which unfortunately he does not, and he cannot. In the final third, you don't want Frank Kessie with the ball. We've seen that. He can't hit the side of the barn. It's crazy, but I take the Frank Kessie that we've seen the past couple of games, started Coppa Italia, Lecce, and today, any day, because that's that defensive position to make Benacer grow.
It just seems like a different kind of player. Well, different. It just seems like a bit more like his mentality's there since coming back, and that's what I want to see against SPAL. Because guys, let's not kid ourselves here. If we would have talked maybe a couple of weeks ago and say, Steve, okay, against Lecce, Roma, and SPAL, what do we predict? Maybe 7 points out of 9. Maybe against Roma. Now this is where we need to show what we're capable of doing because SPAL is battling relegation. Everybody might think that this is going to be no. There's no such thing as an easy game. I think you've all seen it throughout even the Serie A. But Steve, what do you still go with the? I don't think we're going to go with the same starting 11 on Wednesday. Maybe for tired legs. Maybe Paquetá starting instead of Bonaventura. Did not have a great showing, Bonaventura, but isn't this the time where we're like, no, I don't give a shit at SPAL. We're going to go after them like if it was Lecce.
I think he has no choice to start with that same starting 11 again, just because they're the ones that so far have been able to get a result. And not, I'm not saying them, just the 11. There's the substitutions, but if you look at it, no one else has given me a reason to get them out. Besides Jack having a bit of a bad game, but he had a good game against Lecce, got us on the board. You want to give someone like that a chance, even though he's leaving at the end of the year. But who you're going to sub out? Like Salamaker for Castillo. I think Castillo has done enough to earn that starting spot. Rebic needs to start unless Ibrahimovic is ready, and then we need to find the solution. But I don't think Ibra is going to be ready for the game against SPAL. He might be off the bench, so that's going to be an interesting substitution. Leao, guys, Leao has been disappointing. Again, he came on, and he came on against Roma after Rebic scored that goal, and I love that he plays with a smile. But we're at a point where we need more than a smile right now. We need someone to come in and make an impact, and I think he's trying to do too much in the final third. You see that it's one dribble too many, not making the right pass, not making the right decision, overthinking things, and that's not going to win you a starting spot.
No,
Everywhere
playing with
else.
Ibra, Steve. Maybe you've seen him when he plays with Ibra. Is like maybe eh, Ibra is able to take away the ball and bring people to him to try to give him some more space. But no, I agree with you. Is that Leao? I'm just afraid, Steve. Honestly, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. I'm afraid he's a Niang 2.0. Right, that we went to sign him, and he showed us a bit of nice at the beginning, and then I'm not saying that he's at the same caliber as Niang, but it's just about maybe on the disappointment kind of thing. I don't know if you agree.
This is where Milan has to be tough. You have to take out the measuring stick and measure where Liao is in his career. We have to remember his age. He's not very old, so he has a little development to do. Playing with Ibra, I get it, but that means you need to start, and you need to
Yeah,
start alongside Ibra. And right now, I'm not starting Liao over Rebic if Ibra's playing. So you're
true,
not gonna you're
very
not
true.
gonna find you're not gonna find yourself a starting spot if I'm the coach. And again, if we go throughout the field, there's no one else. Tio Hernandez is not moving from there. Romagnoli and Kajar, barring injury, are not moving from there. On the right hand side, that right back, Conte, I think, has been playing well ever since Coppa Italia. He had that stupid penalty, but besides that, guys, you have to understand that right back position is a hard position to play right now.
Do you feel like Hernandez? I know it wasn't like about in the first half where he had, I don't know, I think it was Rebic that was completely open in front of net and he decided to take the shot. Is it a sign, Steve, that maybe, hey, he's fucking scored all these goals? I have nothing to say against the guy, but was that maybe a sign of like, you know what, maybe Theo, maybe you're going on like a cold streak, maybe to look for the pass? I was just a little disappointed there because his angle wasn't the best and he still decided to take a shot. I could understand taking the shot because you have been scoring, but I don't know if you remember the actual shot itself is
I'm not too. I'm not. Look, the backs. There's a dime a dozen. There's not a dime a dozen that score goals like we've had from Hernandez. There's Hakim, the Dortmund player coming from Real Madrid. That's gonna probably sign for Inter, has quite a bit of goals. There's Arnold from Liverpool. There's not a lot of backs that score that many goals. I like that. It's not the rinse and repeat cross. You understand, the rinse
yeah.
and repeat cross. He is trying something else, but he's got to pick his places. He's got to pick his spots, and that one was hey, you should have made a pass instead of taking a shot. But I could live with that if it happens only once a game. If it happens more than that, then we have to sit down and we have to talk about things, right?
Totally agree. Yeah, totally agree on that one there. And I know I did write. I know I did write in our little ticker there. Is it too soon to talk about Europe? Now I know somebody had mentioned about how Napoli already won the Coppa Italia, so they have like an automatic qualification. I don't want to talk about who's automatically qualified, but if we get the 3 points against Spal, do we start believing it a bit more? And I love this how it would be so typically Milan, Steve. for Pioli to bring us to the promised land and him getting fired at the end of the season to go get whatever Ragnarok. So, greetings from Minneapolis. Yes, everyone, thank you very much. Ooh, we're all over the world here. Steve, what do you think? If we get the 3 points against SPAL, can we start? I don't want to say dreaming. I don't want, but what are our chances after that? Because then we'll have the big games after coming after that. What do you feel about this? As you answer, I'm going to go get another beer because it's empty.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not one to look at Europe and Europa League. We've said it before, and I think I believe it. And it might have changed because of COVID, but maybe Milan won't play in Europa League, right? They won't play in Europa League just to get out of the financial fair play again. But we don't know what the rules are of financial fair play coming out of COVID. But playing in Europa League is again another chance at a spot in the Champions League, but you have to win the whole tournament, right? So we see that now Inter they're full on attack at their main goal is going to be winning the Europa League. Can we believe? Look, I could always believe. For me, I'd rather Milan look at what the players are doing now. What the people like we saw this week. Like Salamaker, is he someone that we want to keep or not? What are we doing with Leao? What are we doing with Gabbia? What are we doing with Kajar? Who's gonna be the person who's gonna be that cornerstone of the center defense with Romagnoli? What are we gonna do with Donnarumma's contract? I think Milan has bigger issues to solve between now and the end of the year than them making Europa League.
Definitely, we'll be talking about Gigio resigning. There's the Ibra thing. There's so many things that we can go through. But in the end, Larry's saying, Vinny, don't jinx it. Larry, I would be jinxing if I would bet on the game. See, because I don't bet anymore, I'm not jinxing. I'm not jinxing anything from there. But like you were saying, Steve, it's hold on a second here. I like it. Like saying, like let's just put our foot on their necks and just kill the game. Like we need a performance like if we were against Lecce. Would you agree?
Yeah, they need to end the game early just because there's a lot of games in a short amount of time, and anytime you can get players in to take up some of those minutes from that starting 11 that's been doing very well for Pioli is a benefit. I see Gigi who said Hernandez and Benacer no yellow cards again. That's going to be important from here to the
That's
end of the
big.
year because that's almost like a third goal, right?
The
Keeping
yellow
the
card,
clean.
the first yellow card was a foul on Benacer. I was like, is this the Twilight
Yeah,
Zone? What's going on?
and again, the clean sheet seems like we're doing we're doing well in the clean sheet department. Gigi has 11.
Yeah.
So it seems like if we keep a clean sheet, we have a good chance to get 3 points. It's a trap game against SPAL. Let's face it, guys.
Yeah.
After that, I think we have Lazio and Naples and Juve. So we have a tough month coming up in July, and that's gonna be not only for Milan, guys. I wish that we take that approach where they're the underdog and they're the ball buster, right?
Yeah.
Let's start ball busting Napoli for that fourth spot and get them out of there. Let's ball busting the Lazio in that second, third spot, and let's ball bust Juve to make it in a title
And
race, right?
can
Whoever that
Atalanta
second place is.
can Atalanta lose a fucking game? I don't understand this team. Like Jesus Christ, man! It's like I'm sorry, they have no business coming back 3 goals when they were down 2-0 to a team like Lazio. But anyways, that was back when we used to call them Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Lazio, Steve, that was definitely
Yeah.
Mr. Hyde coming
But
out
but
from.
but Lazio showed more than that. Lazio showed the Lazio that we've said from the beginning. There's a crumble in Lazio that's coming, and the crumble started. Yes, they won this week, but they won because
Hmm.
VAR decided to take a day off. Right?
Yeah.
They didn't want to look at for some reason. VAR didn't want to intervene in that penalty shot that was conceded to Lazio, which was absolutely terrible. It's exactly for that reason why we have VAR. And that not only got them in the game, it also made them win the game, which unjustly so to Fiorentina. They should have never lost that game. And Kumbara Commisso,
Come,
Commisso, he was a bit pissed off.
Yeah, it was a little bit pissed off. Let's take it through. I got a nice message from Zvanko, Steve. I wanted to read it out. He says he starts off by saying, "Okay, so you have to hear this and can be done on Twitter. It's too long." On our Milan Club Sweden page, one of our fans comes in and tells us that he's for first time sitting down with his son to watch Milan, who he has given Milan as a middle name after 6 months of discussion with his spouse and bought him a kit. First time he will be watching with his little kid. 6 months of fighting for this over name, so naturally I had to ask how he won the argument. Turns out his spouse wanted to name the son Glenn. She's from here in Gothenburg, Sweden, and Glenn is kind of a legendary name in this area. Glenn of Fiorentina, Glenn Heisen of Fiorentina and Liverpool fame, national side. She's like, so ahead of birth, this bloke and his spouse argue whether the name should be Milan or Glenn. They make a bet. Milan are to play Roma, and the spouse, to spite him, starts to root for Roma just because they had bought a bed for their house, and the bed was named, like stuff at IKEA has names, Roma. If Milan wins the game, the kid is named Milan. If Roma wins, the kid is named Glenn. Back then, Patrick Cotrone scores 2-1, and our friend got to name his son Milan. Same threat, one of our fans has already decided that his son will be named Arrigo. Mind that we are talking about Sweden here, not Italy. Another guy named his son Emil because his last name is Anderson. Emil Anderson. Get it? I like it because it's Milan. One guy gave his daughter Rossonera as a middle name and his son Milan as a middle name. When asked how he solved this with his spouse, the answer was no discussion. I just went in and 5 papers, made it happen. There was no room for discussion over it as far as I was concerned. He had another name, his son Lucas, after Bilia. I don't know about that one.
Oh my God.
I have a Serbian mate who named his son Milan strictly due to him being a huge fan of the club, even though Milan is quite common in the Balkans, Czech Republic, and Slovakia. So I guess it's up if you can ask about. There's any people out there who have named their children after Milan or players in Milan. In Sweden, there are plenty. I know our friend Danny Sauro, his daughter, he called her Milania because a big Milan fan. Anything, Steve, anybody in a name, let's say, for the Milan love? I know, I just love this whole story. It's like, it's like there was no discussion. This is what's going to be their names, and that's it. Nice little story from there. Anybody?
I don't know anybody, to be very honest, who's actually named their kid after someone who or something that reminds them of their club. To be very honest, you imagine even me. I got Gianfranco just because my father's name was Franco, so it kind of was gonna be anything Franco Baresi style, but we named him Gianfranco, right? So he has no middle name, and my daughter is Angelina. So we have Stefano Gattuso. Stefano Gattuso needs to tell us which kid of his he named after Milan.
We'll wait for his comment from over there.
Yeah.
But Stefano is Vince Gattuso's brother. Vince Gattuso he's been referenced before as the what was it? How do you reference him, Steve? Again, the Fiorentina.
He's the Napoli / Fiorentina / Parma /
He's a lover of all teams. I remember him with Parma. I remember him like that jersey of Parma back in the early 90s when we
saw Stefano Gattuso's his last name is Gattuso, but you didn't give your kid that was your last name to begin with.
Exactly, Gattuso, of course. Facebook Frank asking us on Instagram responded to what are your thoughts on the potential sale of Calabria and signing of Steve, I had to go on the internet, SZOBOSZLAA, and I wanted to make you hear that this is the way it's supposed to be pronounced here. So let me see if you can hear this.
Soboslai.
From
Soboslai.
Okay, so you pronounce it as, but Calabria, supposedly the rumors, 10 million. Would you sell Calabria, Steve, for 10? Is he worth now more than that?
I don't think he's worth more than that there, but if Milan deem him that, look, he's not starting over Conte, and we already need help at the right back position. Super Sly, Super Sly is the Hungarian
Super Sly. Okay, so we're going with Super Sly, like he's Sylvester Stallone or something. Go ahead.
But I don't think he's a right back though. I think he's a wing back. I think he's a winger. Soboslai. He's a winger, and he comes from Red Bull Richensline there.
What team is he?
Red Bull Lippensling. Super
It does sound like Superfly.
Soboslai. Soboslai.
Jimmy Snuka.
Soboslai.
But no, Steve, I think 10 million. I think I'd bite on that. Would you not?
Yeah, I think that they're gonna have to if they want to go in a different direction, and he's not been someone who's been winning a starting spot in that right back position. We do need depth, but because if Conte gets hurt, we have no backup, right? But I think the
Exactly.
10 million will be at the end of the year, and I think we can find a right back, some right back depth there. Maybe again, will Conte be that right back depth, and we're gonna sign someone who's better. Look, Inter's taking the hot commodity at right back, right? They're
Yeah.
taking Hakim from Dortmund, who I don't know how he doesn't find space at Real Madrid, to be very honest with you. And I don't know how Dortmund doesn't keep him on there because they're going to be playing the Champions League. They're going to be, and so will Inter. And I'm not saying that I hate the Snakes. But it's a positive signing for Serie A when one of the best right backs in the world wants to play in Serie A and believes in that project. And that has to do, again, the key word here, guys, is believes in that project. Unfortunately, Milan right now doesn't have that project. And, uh, we laugh at Inter. We laughed at Inter. We'll continue to hate Inter because they are our cousins. But guys, they've done it. They've gotten out of financial fair play. They've signed some players, like Perisic, who's they're gonna end up selling to Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich's gonna want to keep him. They sold Icardi, so like you gotta sell sometimes to upgrade. And players like Icardi and Perisic, it's not like they're not good players. They're playing at one is playing at PSG, okay, mind you, on vacation because of his wife, but the other one's going to be playing on Bayern Munich, man. So let's face it. This is going to be very interesting. It opens the doors to a lot of interesting signings for the team. I see Jamie that says that Dortmund can't afford Hakim. I would be very surprised. I don't know if they can't afford him. I believe that they just don't want to. They don't want to pay 40 million because they probably have another right back lined up to take that position. So
And Dortmund has an history of like, you know what? Yes, they'll sell, but they'll always find somebody. A la Atalanta, kind of in the last couple of years, right? They sell big, they find replacements, and maybe they'll go buy that one big player once in a while. But other than that, it's like it's part of their motto. And Dortmund is still a great team to watch, but maybe if their plans are not always to win the Bundesliga every single year, but. Anyways, AC Milan blogger on Instagram saying, should Zlatan start versus Lazio, Juve, and Napoli, or should Rebic continue to play? I think they have to make them play together, no, Steve?
both need to play.
Both need to play.
If Milan want to make a push, both need to play. We need Zlatan to continue attracting attention from the defense on the opposing teams, and it's going to open up space. We're not going to always catch a tired Roma or a dysfunctional Lecce. And Lecce, if you watch this weekend against Juve, it's not like they played bad. They were just really unlucky. And Juve looked terrible, to be very honest with you. They look really, really bad.
They haven't been top
No.
sheep, Steve, since coming back.
And it's crazy, guys. It's Mercato madness to the they have Pjanic going to Barcelona plus 10 million for Arthur. Arthur is still at Barcelona, gonna finish out the season there. This is crazy. I've never seen this before, where people are signing contracts and then going back to the team that they signed that they're coming from and having to finish off the season. So.
And Frank saying plays Zlatan and Rebic, possibly Blanche Bonaventura. Maybe a change in formation because we need to have. And you know what, guys, Zlatan ain't gonna play not 90 minutes. You know the way it is, unless condition wise and everything. But the way the reports were going, that we might have seen him against Roma and on the bench. But let's see how SPAL looks. But I think a rotation of the squad should be a good thing against SPAL. On the Twitter machine, Steve, Trash Boat. It's been a while, Trash Boat. Ragnarok and Maldini are as directors, and Pioli remains our coach for next season. As we need to buy for our midfield is a player who can pass a through ball and destroy a destroyer. Your thoughts? You know what, Steve? Why has not been discussed? Pioli staying as coach, Ragnarok and Maldini at the helm. Ragnarok as a sporting director, Maldini doing whatever he does. How come that hasn't been discussed at all? I don't
Well,
mind this idea.
well, we don't know. That might be exactly what happens, but just Milan have not communicated that. He can't take over all three positions, guys. It
No,
doesn't make sense, and we cannot be in rumors and talks for players that are playing with the team that he's at right now. Like Superfly and we wanted the striker at Liechtenstein, and we want all of Liechtenstein's players, but Ragnarok is still there, right? So, guys, no one knows, and unfortunately that's Milan's fault, right? And this is what sells papers, and this is what gives Milan uh, 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 a bad reputation in terms of how we deliver messages to our fans and to the Serie A community, because we don't know when Ragnick is going to come, what position he's going to take, and and whose place he's going to take, if he takes anybody's place.
we don't even know if he's coming for sure.
Exactly. The thing is that if he doesn't come, we said it last week or 2 weeks ago. This is very, very bad. This will be very, very bad for. It will not keep. It will not keep the players or future signings very comfortable with whatever project we have.
And going into this question from Vincenzo Mancini, saying, knowing Stefano Pioli will most likely be axed at the end of the season, if he continues to provide positive results, bring us to European qualification, what should Milan's future approach be with him? What is the classy, if any, approach to letting him go? Guys, again, like, we're going to touch base on that. Maybe that is the plan. Like, maybe keep him somehow. I don't know. Maybe he's touching chords with the players. And again, we're just talking after 2 wins in a row, which we haven't seen in a while. Let's have maybe this discussion if we pull up some points against the big three there, Steve. But what would be the classy move? What, we're going to pay him again for another? No, we just signed him for the rest of the season, did we not? We just with the option to buy, but what would be the classy way? We weren't classy with the rest of the ex Rossonero, so I don't know what would you consider as a classy move to let him go?
To let Bonaventura go?
No, to let Pioli go.
Well, Pioli's contract, it's in his contract, if he makes Europa League, that he's guaranteed another year. So this extension here is just because of coronavirus, and it's just basically a bridge to the end of the Campionato. If he doesn't make Europa, they have that option to let him go. Is it the right choice? I have no idea. The way the team is playing ever since Ibra came back and Pioli took over, look, it wasn't the best, but it's been getting better. And it's a little bit of continuity. It's a bit of the same chef in the kitchen making that same plate of pasta, and you're kind of starting to like that home cooking, right? So
yeah,
the classy way. There is no classy way, guys. They've been talking about another coach ever since Christmas time.
exactly.
The classiness is over. Milan has lost all that classiness. There's nothing left.
We wish you luck in your future endeavors. Anyways. Gigi Lapatat saying, how about that Jeremy Boga? Which goal did you like the most in Serie A this weekend, where more goals, 40, were scored as compared to the EPL, 19, and Liga 30? I'm not going to say which goal I like the most because I didn't watch them all. What I will say, to all you fucking guys, Italian Serie A, here, fuck you about fucking Italian Serie A, that it's boring, that there's no goals, there's no this, there's no that. Educate yourselves and don't talk to me about the fucking EPL and Norwich City versus fucking Stoke or something. Serie A is where it's at. There were exciting games this week, Steve. A lot of comebacks, and yes, Boga seems to be maybe another player on the rise. What do you think?
Guys, we've been talking about Boga for a long time via the Milan chat. It seems Presidente missed those chats because Presidente got all offended. Everybody's on the Boga train, and then everybody's like, "But Presidente, we've been talking about him for a year. Some people have like scouted him even before that, So, look again. I think he's a player that has a lot of potential. He's not getting signed at Chelsea, and I don't think it's because he's not good enough to play at Chelsea. I think Chelsea, right now they're sitting in that Champions League spot, and again they have to be able to sell to upgrade at whatever position. I think it's Wenner who's going there from to take that striking spot there. No more Olivier Giroud, or he's going to be he's going to be a depth player. But they're upgrading, right? They want to. Chelsea have made some really, really interesting signings. Chelsea's going to be really interesting next year. They have the young player from Ajax, the Moroccan, all kinds of assists with Ajax, and I'd like to see how he transfers to the English Premier League. Wenner is a very interesting striker in the Bundesliga. He tore it up. They have Lewandowski there. It's kind of like if you kind of finish second, you're almost the capocannoniere. And a young player like Boga is not going to have trouble finding a spot in that team. And playing at Sassuolo is really good for his career. And I think the Serie A was really good for his career. And I think it's time for him to make a jump. Is that jump Milan? I have no idea. But I think his next step is away from Sassuolo. And, I think that people are going to have to pay. And I'm interested in him just because he seems like that Benacer type of signing, someone who has that Serie A experience, and he's played quite a bit of important matches, and he's been involved in those important matches.
Fantastic answer there, Steve. On a quick one before I go to Adriano, which he hasn't asked us a question in a while, but how did you take seeing the last couple of weeks in Gazidis, Maldini, sometimes Masara, but how did you take them, seeing them together? We haven't seen Gazidis like, Milanello and there, and do you read anything into that, like seeing them more united, or do you think it's just a front?
I think they need to be seen together. They need to be professional and continue working together. Look, if Maldini doesn't come out and have that interview that he has regarding Ragnick, and whatever went on,
it's Ragnarok, Steve.
Ragnick, whatever it is, then we're saying, maybe that was a paper trail that was leading us all to believe that Milan is again in shambles. But he did come out and have that interview. So I think I tip my hat to him and everybody else, and Gazidis as well, to be professional, because it must not be. They're not sending each other Christmas cards. Let's face it that way. And if Ragnick does come in and Maldini leaves, look, it's not going to be pretty. But we have to remember that it's Milan the most important here, and there has to be some kind of reason towards it. Whether it is right or wrong, I don't know.
It just seems like maybe they're just putting the differences aside for now and just going for the better of the team. I'll take it as that, and I guess we'll see what the coming weeks. Adriano, that piece of bread, asks us, Buonasera Milan Weekly Pod. First, did you see your chiseled figures on TV yesterday? No, I did not see. We were on TV yesterday. We were part of the fans over there. I'm not sure. Sorry, Adriano. If you have a picture, or let us know when, because I do not remember seeing our chiseled bodies.
I didn't even see it, to be very honest. Like, that was a great initiative by Milan, and to be very honest, I watched the game, and I don't know if it was because I was watching it on the AZN, but I didn't really see them pan to that digital board that was showing everybody's picture.
Yeah, I didn't see anything. And then I tried to watch the second half on Rai, maybe come up with the first. But
you think maybe Serie A would have said, "Hey, DZN, we're trying to do this. Maybe you'd want to like zoom in at halftime instead of telling me the statistics of other leagues. Show me the board so that people can see themselves on TV."
He asks also, why do Milan burn their legends? After seeing the Benevento promotion with Inzaghi at the helm, it got me thinking again, why are Milan so notorious at that? And then, if only we wish we knew. It's just, and let's not kid ourselves, guys. Yes, Benevento's coming to Serie A next year. Benevento has been in Serie A, I believe, 3-4 years ago, Steve? This is not a team that's going to stay in Serie A. I don't mean no disrespect to Benevento, but I could see my beloved Regina making Serie B. Getting Jeremy Menez. Steve, did you see that? He had a hero's welcome there in Reggio Calabria. That was fantastic. But why do we burn our legends? It started with Seedorf. And for me, I still have it. Over here. I don't know why we keep on burning. It just seems like since we burnt our first one, it was like, bah, at this point we could burn multiple
Yeah,
ones. I don't know if you have any
it's a bit, it's a bit everybody's fault, right? I'm not saying I'm blaming the legends there, but uh, you're gonna take on the helm of a Milan that's not healthy enough for you to succeed, and you know what? Someone like Seedorf, who didn't have a lot of coaching experience, taking on Milan like he did, was great. It was nice to see, and I find that he did have some good spots, but it was never going to end well. The same thing with Brocchi, the same thing with Inzaghi. Gattuso was a bit different, guys. Gattuso had coaching experience. Yes,
Yeah.
it was in exterior leagues out of Serie A, but he had some time at Pisa, he had some time at Palermo. Like he had some Serie B experience, and Gattuso's coaching style was a bit different, right? He wanted to bring out and take out the best out of those players. So, besides Gattuso, yes, Gattuso was a burn, but the Inzaghi and the Seedorf and the
They took
Brocchi.
the Seedorf. They made him retire from fucking Botafogo with no clears. And you know what? If you look at his stats too, when he got fired, he had a winning record. It didn't make any sense for Seedorf, and that I still fucking blame Montolivo, but whatever. But
Yeah, but the thing
I
is
wish
that you have to be able to set the Seedorf as a legend aside and think for what's the best of Milan. Vinny, let's be honest with you. I'm going to be honest with you. That Seedorf was not going to be even if he makes it to the end of the year, he was not going to be continuing. He was not, and no one forced him to retire. He retired.
he did not. Hold on a second, Steve. Hold on a second, Steve. He had, if you go look at the stats, he had a winning record.
Yeah, but
Okay.
if the room is not on board with you,
So you as Berlusconi and Uncle Fester, you're gonna take the word of a Montolivo. Now we're just speculating here because this is what
yeah,
we heard.
we don't
We're
know.
not there. We do not know. But a guy like Seedorf that sacrificed, and Seedorf is always in fucking tip-top shape. You see his videos lately, his legs are still. The guy could have played another year in Brazil, right? He could have made that money, whatever the case may be. And I wish I could get myself a Botafogo Seedorf jersey, but it comes back to the question: why do they burn these legends? I fucking wish I knew, but I'm always gonna look at those. To me, Brocchi is not as much as burning as a people, as a Seedorf. And yes, Gattuso, I think, is in a different plane there. But I see, Adrian, I wish we had the answer because fuck, we don't.
It's a very simple answer. We do have the answer. There was no proper project. There was no reason to bring on Seedorf. There was no reason to bring on Inzaghi, besides the point that they were already on the payroll with the Primavera, and there was a slight upgrade to not lose much more money. Besides Seedorf, those are for Brocchi and Inzaghi. That's what it is, right?
Make a lot of
But
sense.
the thing is that, let's face it, guys. Uh, it takes a special cloth, and you have to go through a lot of, and we've had Jason DiTullio on the show where he's gone from local club to the national team, to the Quebec team, to the Impact Academy, to Impact. You gotta pay your dues, man. And it's not something that's very rare that someone's handed the keys to the throne and they're automatically successful. Unfortunately, Milan doesn't have that commodity of waiting for someone to become successful. They need results right away.
Tapio has been following us for a very long time. Asks the pros and cons of Milan sticking with Pioli versus the pros and cons of Milan blowing up another project for Ragnarok. The pros and cons, Tapio, it's hard to the pros and cons. I think the cons would be if Pioli brings us to like some more wins and more results. The cons would be like, holy fuck, we actually found some sort of formula that's been, and let's not kid ourselves, guys. Pioli is not God's gift to us as a coach, but I think the cons would be like, holy shit, now we have to start over again. This will be like the Gattuso, where we were 1 point away from Champions League. Giampaolo comes in, whatever. The pros would be the pros of sticking with Pioli: consistency. And I don't know if you agree, Steve. I would go with pro of sticking because of consistency. The cons of sticking with him would be like, okay, so let's say the cons of sticking with Pioli, same old story. I don't know, because now he doesn't ask us about the whole results, but let's go for you a positive of sticking with Pioli. Would you not say consistency? Something that
Look,
we haven't fucking seen.
everybody who listens to our show for sure, they chime in to Culture Land every so often, and if you haven't, please listen to it. David Amoyal and the guys there do a fantastic job. And David's always quoted as saying, and I heard it first on his show, is basically you need a coach that takes you from C to B, level C to B in terms of playing. You're always in Serie A. Please
Yeah.
don't. I don't want to give off the wrong message here. There's someone who's going to take you from C to B, but there's someone that needs to take you from B to A. And we made that mistake. We had Gattuso who took us from C to B, 1 point away from Champions League, and I'm guilty of that too. I thought Giampaolo was gonna be
We all
ready,
did, Steve. We all
was gonna be ready to take that next step after doing great things with smaller teams, take Milan from B to A. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. Now we have Pioli, who's making some good progress, and I'm not saying he's going to take us from C to B right now because the B is trying to get us into the champions. That's that ultimate big B.
if we don't have a result against SPAL, whatever his work did in the last two games are completely erased. Am I wrong?
Exactly. He's a superhero. He could be a superhero for 2 weeks, and he's a bad result away from Ragnick's name being all over the papers again, right? So it's unfortunately it's unfair for him too.
Yeah.
And we talked about it. Like the guy's coaching, and I don't blame Maldini. He's 100% right when he says there's people here, including himself, that are staying professional through a pandemic that we haven't seen in 202 years. And we have our administration talking about another coach, so I tip my hat because Pioli hasn't gone through very easy situations. Let's face it, right?
No.
He
No.
had the tragedy at Fiorentina. When he was at Lazio, he had to deal with Lotito and his craziness. You understand? So and everywhere else he's gone, he's paid his dues, right? So he seems to be at least creating some stability, some a little bit of continuity. Ibra was a huge help for him, and I think that was a big mistake. We should have got him at the beginning of the year, and I think we would have been surprisingly. I'm not going to say that I predicted it, but I think we would have been closer to that fourth spot. Not in fourth spot, but closer to that fourth spot.
That's one way I had to look at on that. But Milan Club Philly, our friend Dave, is asking. It looks like fifth place is in the highest spot we can realistically achieve if things go our way in the remaining matches. What do you think we end up in the table at the end of the season? I see us right where we are in sixth or seventh place. You know what? I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna be positive here, Steve, and I think fifth is ours. I just feel us going through the way I've been seeing Lazio, the way I've been seeing Juve, the way I've been not really Juve, sorry, the way I've been seeing the big teams that are always winning. They haven't been very convincing, other than Atalanta somehow fucking coming up with these wins every single week. But fifth place, Steve, or do you see sixth and seventh like Dave?
Whatever it is, 6, 7, 6, 5 for me. The season is a failure. Yes, we're gonna be able to come out of this and say, hey, Benacer looks good, Theo Hernandez looks good, Romagnoli has finally an older partner, Donnarumma looks good. But in the end, guys, the final cherry on this season had to be Champions League, right? And we need to get back there for multiple reasons that you guys have heard me complain about every single week for 200 some odd episodes. Until I get back to Champions League, for me, the seasons are a failure. Whatever spot, even if we finish 10th, what's the difference, right? If we're gonna go play in Europa League and we're not gonna have the depth to complete to get that champion spot, what's the point of playing an extra time per year, right? I need to see this Milan black in Champions League. It's pissing me off that Inter's project is going much faster than ours because we have no project, and that's the thing that frustrates me the most. So for me, to answer Dave's question, a long answer for a very short question is it's a failure, right? I cannot give it a grade. For me, I'm disappointed because from the beginning we believed in the Maldini and Boban project with Giampaolo. We've suffered through an invisible owner of Young Hong Lee, and now again we're trying to go into a direction where we're going to end up possibly resetting again.
Jamie's been drinking. Breaking news. I'm going to go extra positive. We're going to kick Gasperini ass for it. I think he does not like his dancing as much as you there, Steve. But I like.
No, but you know what though? I'm gonna go extra positive with Jamie. If I have to lose every single game here on out between now and the end of the year, and if I'm not mistaken, please Vinny, correct me if I'm wrong. We have another game against Atalanta, right?
Let me check
Do
as you
we?
answer. I don't think so. Let me see here. Je pense pas, mon chum, but hold on a second, 2 seconds here. Milan.
This is
Sorry,
important
guys.
because
We were on quarantine and we didn't watch Serie A for all this time. So fixtures. Atalanta. Yes,
Frank
we
says
do. Fuck.
Frank
The
says last game
26th.
at home. So
No, we
Frank
have, yeah. No, sorry. I'm seeing here Atalanta on the 26th, and then
before
we have
last.
before last. Yeah, yeah,
Before
yeah.
last.
So we still
Okay.
have. Okay,
So
go ahead, Steve.
if I have to lose or tie every game between now and that Atalanta game, and I get to that Atalanta game, and I have a chance to knock them out of Champions League, guys, I want to win that game. You don't understand what that dancing did to me. I'm telling you, Vinny, it pissed me
I
off,
know,
man.
I know, I
And
know.
it completely disgusted me out of Atalanta. It completely disgusted me out of all the Italian newspapers because if that would have been done by someone from Milan, we would have been thrown in the trash as someone who's
Yeah,
dancing
yeah.
with like a Gattuso
Obviously.
dancing on the sidelines, or Giampaolo or Pioli dancing on the sidelines when we beat someone 5-0. Who obviously Milan had a terrible game because I don't think I don't think that team loses 5-0 all the time against Atalanta, and I'm going to give them credit. Atalanta's been playing well, but if that game, the second to last game of the year, means something that we could be spoiler to anything for Atalanta, I am throwing everything at them. Every single thing we have.
I'm, I'm
Ibra,
coming over that game, Steve.
reincarnation of Seedorf, reincarnation of Van
Everybody, baby.
Basten. I'm throwing reincarnation of George Weah. Everybody, guys, everybody. I do not want to lose that game.
We'll
I'm
we'll
telling you,
we'll
I'll be
we'll, live,
pissed.
we'll do a live watch with me and Steve there if that
I'll be
happens.
pissed because the dancing stayed into it's fresh in my mind, guys, and I'm pissed. And this weekend we saw it again. The Muriel going to Gasperini and lifting him up like as if they're in Ballando con le Stelle.
Not Corona,
Ma
Corona.
vaffanculo.
At Fabio 3785, he says the play between Rebic and Hakan looks like it's getting better every week. Rebic with Zlatan this week versus SPAL. I like how Pac-Man and Slamaka, whatever his name is, brought a good change of pace. Overall, not a great game, but 3 points. The heat is definitely hard on the squad in Italy. So not really a question, but he's saying, do you see Rebic with Zlatan? I think so. Maybe we spoke about that a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zlatan plays with Rebic. But no matter what happens, guys, Hakan is always going to start because that's what we've seen
Yeah.
throughout this whole time. Milan Mo wants to know, is Rebic the striker we have been looking for so long, or do you think he's more valuable as a left winger with Ibra or another striker in the front?
I
I
think
don't
he's
think.
more. I think he's more dangerous being closer to goal. To be very honest, with you, but we've seen sometimes on the counter he's not very nimble of foot. We've seen him lose balls cheaply and squash our counter attacks, and we saw it again against Roma, guys. I told you, against a better team, that counter attack is squashed.
But for I think Rebic started flourishing with Ibra on the pitch. So I'm going to go with the latter, saying maybe as a winger, because he has looked a bit sometimes lost, and when he's there trying to put him in. Stefano, yes, Chocharo is open. The back room is available to us for game time. We're going to reach out to all of you guys. We're going to see, I don't think this Wednesday. Game's at 3:45. It is a day off for everybody, but we're definitely going to get in touch with all the Milan Club members of Montreal to see when we're going to get together. Social distancing, masks with a hole inside, so we're going to have our beer. We'll let you guys know. Do you think Inter wins a Champions League before Milan? This is from Eggs and Pancake. No.
What's the question? I forgot.
Will
I zoned
Inter,
out.
will Inter win a Champions League before Milan?
The way they're going, yes. I'm not afraid to say it.
Steve, let's put it this way. You're looking at Inter in the last couple of years. I get it. They have a fantastic program. I'll admit that. Has Juventus not had a more fantastic program in the last 7 to 8 years, and they still can't win fucking shit?
Not necessarily, because in Europe it's very much a different game. It's
So
very
you're
much a
saying
different game.
they would win with Conte at the helm?
I don't know if it's Conte, to be very honest with you, but I think the way things are going, unfortunately, we have to be realistic, and Inter has a better chance of winning a Champions League before we do.
I'm going to go with somebody at one point is just going to buy this team a la Manchester City, a la PSG, and say, fuck this shit, let's just buy everybody. We're going to win this Champions League before Inter. But that's the dreamer in me. Guys, that takes up... look, guys, without a guest, just talking. Look at us. And you know what I love about me and Steve? Steve, what do we discuss before these podcasts? Nothing. 8:30, Steve? Yeah, 8:30. And this is the beauty of it. Any indigestions for this week? For me, like the feel-good moment would have to be the nice presentation for Prati, a Milan legend that passed away last week. Nice little presentation with Romagnoli. I really like that. That would
They
be
put the flowers on the bench. Very
they
nice.
put the flowers on bench. I think they put out 48 white roses for his year of birth or anything like that. That was really nice, classy. You know, really like that kind of stuff. I don't know if you have any good feelings for this week. Let's start with the good, because I want to stay with the positive. Nothing.
The good. I liked the fact that someone like Salamaker, who we've been trashing on, and the newspaper have been trashing on, and they played for 21 minutes, shows a little bit of hope and development with this Milan, a little glimmer of hope to give us another option maybe on that right hand side. Someone like Kajar coming in and being injured, and you know what, he's playing for a team that he's on loan to, and he's willing to play hurt, not injured, hurt, for this Milan. That shows a lot, right? From a guy like that who could have easily said, you know what, I'm not going to risk it. I don't know if I'm going to be here at the end of August. Those things really got to me this week, because guys, it's a really strange time. These players are not only on a regular season, they're playing a lot of football, and now it's even more condensed.
46 fasi, compare Fasi is telling us.
Scusate.
Ivo, sorry, I forgot, because you tweeted us like a day before. Even Jan asking us our feelings on Sausage Maker, we answered that. Ivo asking us, he's skeptical about Ragnarok. We answered a bit of our feelings from over there. For me, the indigestion, Steve, has to go to VAR once again. It's like not just specifically for Milan. It's just even against Fiorentina. And then who's the lead of, what's his name, Rizzoli, saying, well, the VAR could only be checked when it's a blatant mistake that we have to...
It's bullshit. They don't know how to use it.
Just don't tell us anything. It's just because it's like... Fuck, man.
Statements like that just give the referees a bad name. It's better that they don't say anything. The VAR is there to correct mistakes, and unfortunately, that was a terrible mistake against Fiorentina. Commisso has the right to be really pissed off.
He talks too much, though, Steve.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he's the North American way. That's the North American way. Those things don't happen in North American. Those things don't happen in North America. Vinny,
if he says it 10 times in a row and then it actually
bad.
is something blatant, nobody's going to take him
But
seriously.
unfortunately, that's the problem, Vinny. That these things don't happen in North America, and the Serie A, because they're sheltered in their country that they think has created everything. Italy is not the center of the universe. They've
So you're telling me in the NFL there's no blown calls? You're
there
telling me
is blown calls. It happens,
it
and
happened?
it happens, but not as often as Serie A.
Okay,
It
I'll give
happens.
you that. But unfortunately, Rocco, he talks too much. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying is that when it's going to come the time that it's going to be really blatant that something is against him, nobody's going to take him seriously.
But this is blatant against him. This changed the game and made him lose three valuable points. They're not they're safe, but they need to win. He needs to fill the seats. I'm an owner, and I dish out that kind of money. I want the games to be called fair. And if they're not, I will be in the same shoes as Commiso, and I will be yelling at the TV screens every single day, every single time that I have a chance. We have Ferrero at Sampdoria. He's crazy.
Yeah.
He's crazy. We have Lotito. He's crazy. They're allowed to be crazy. So I give it to him. I give him full marks. My indigestion, guys, to be very honest, is going to be against with Giorgio Chiellini. This guy,
Oh my
he's
God.
just really dumb.
Did you see Shiva fucking ripping into him?
Exactly, he's just really
love
dumb. And I saw Francis the Snake right back, and I agree with him 100% that Totti should have won a golden ball throughout his career. And I'll give him the Michael Owen one. Yeah, okay, because I care less about Michael Owen. But who is he to talk about Shiva? He's a Champions League winner. He was dominant in Serie A.
But what a classy response from Shiva, though.
Of course,
Very-
because that's class. That's class.
Yeah.
Just shut your mouth. Because the thing is that because Chiellini is a Juventine and he has no balls. He has no balls. Because the right answer there was going to be the Nedved golden ball. Because the Nedved golden ball is the one that's questioned. The Michael Owen is questioned and the Nedved is questioned as well.
Right? It's like you want to talk about mine.
Exactly. Talk about your boss. But because you're scared, La Puglia, La Pucchiacca is nice and morbid like this in Chiellini's balls. Because he doesn't have balls, he has a Pucchiacca. He talks about Sheva instead of talking about Nedved. If he really had balls, he would have said, you know what, the Nedved golden ball was a question. They say everybody says the Kaká golden ball is a question too. Kaká was dominant, guys. The golden ball is not a popularity contest. You can't win it just because your name is Francesco Totti. And I agree 100%. There was years that Totti deserves. Not even, and I'm not even saying to win. He wasn't even nominated for how criminal it was. It's a dumb award, but they need to give it to the most dominant player.
Jamie, take a look at Shiva's response. It was fucking a true burial. That's what we say in the wrestling world. But he did it so much with class, just saying like, Kelly, you never fucking won anything. You would have played the bench back in my day and stuff like that. But it's just you know what you know what I hate about all this, Steve? He got exactly what he wanted. He's getting a reaction, and we're still fucking about Chiellini, right?
But you know what? I don't even think he wanted the reaction. To be
He said, what did Shiva say? He goes, if you wouldn't talk about other players, nobody would have bought your book in the first place. Oh man, David, thank you for joining us. We're finished here. But the last time I heard that word, non Filomena, was really pissed off. Minchia, non Filomena. Scusate, non. But guys, thank you so very much again for joining us. Steve, maybe on Canada Day, what time are we playing? At 3:45, or are we playing on? Hold on a second. What time are we playing? SPAL Milan. We are playing at 3:45. Maybe mi faccio una camminata. Maybe I don't know if we could manage to maybe watch it together. First, I'll do my DDP yoga workout. I'll come over. We'll be on the pool. Maybe we could do an Instagram live. Who knows? But guys, we need those 3 points against SPAL. I don't give a shit at SPAL. We need those fucking 3 points, not because we beat Roma, not because we beat Lecce. No. We need those 3 points. Steve, do you agree?
3 points is a must.
And yes, happy Canada Day. And if it's Canada Day on the 1st, so 2, 3, 4, well, we're not going to see you Americans. Happy 4th of July. And we'll see all of yous next Monday. Ovunque è sempre, Steve.
Forza Milan.
Guys, have a good night. Ciao.